It's kind of like we have everything on two different sides. It's like kind of a new thing. I guess you just have to try it yourself. Just listen.
You are about to listen to the Yin and Yang Podcast.
Alright, welcome back. He's Yin.
And he's Yang. And welcome to the Yin and Yang Podcast.
Alright, we just want to thank everybody who listened to the podcast last time. Shout out to Nardog for commenting on our last video. We appreciate your support. And if you want a chance at a shout out, please leave a comment. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, hit the like bell, or hit the bell and hit the like button if you want more podcasts from us. And that was already the first mess up. Get that jitters out of the way, first thing going, you know what I mean? And if you're listening live on Twitch, jump in, say hi. You know, we're going to be talking about the stimulus bill coming up, about the economy, when it should open up, the health risk versus, you know, how long is it okay to wait within this lockdown before the economy just tanks too much before it's beyond recovery versus the health risk of just opening it up too soon. So feel free to jump in, talk about it with us. But let's talk about something on a lighter note. Somebody here just became a dad. I just want to, Yin, congratulations, buddy. Yeah.
Thank you.
All around, you did nothing. Congratulations to your girlfriend. She did all the work.
Yeah, I know, right? It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. It is mad props to all the ladies out there that have had children. That is the craziest thing. 9 months of growing something. The actual thing is just if anybody's ever watched Aliens before, the first one, and that alien pops out and is screaming, but it's a lot more cooler because the alien that's screaming is your alien. So yeah, aliens in my case, twins. So yeah, party down.
Oh yeah, man! I'm glad you're happy. I'm really excited for you, dude. And
heck yeah! How was your week?
It was pretty good. A lot of research for this. Trying to get more prepared than last time. If you listened last time, we stumbled and bumbled a little bit, but we're gonna try to bounce back this week and keep continuing the progress of making better and better content for you guys, because this is what we want. We want us to be better, and we want a community of people. So if you want to chime in, leave us a comment. You know, join our Discord. Our Discord link is in the description. Jump in with us one day. I mean, we already have I think 2 people scheduled in the future to come on and talk with us.
I think a couple people.
Yeah, we got
one too.
Yeah, we got people in the future that are going to be coming on with us, and we like that. We want more people. We want other opinions. This is what the point of this podcast is, to branch the divide between anybody that has an opinion on anything really, and just start that discussion.
Intellectual.
Yeah, intellectual is the key word. Try as possible, because we don't claim to be experts. We don't know everything. We're just 2 normal guys that want to do our best and give you the most information as we can.
Totally.
But the biggest news I think of this week is probably this stimulus package that got passed, and I think a biggest thing that we've been seeing is all these people, you know, saying like, "Oh, where's this money going to? $2 trillion. It's going, you know, only so much of it is going to the people. Why are we only getting this much?" And I mean, it's crazy to think about $2 trillion. Like, what is it? The biggest stimulus package ever drawn up by Congress ever?
Yeah, that is true.
This is a lot of money. So,
which is expected. We have a huge. I mean, the population only gets bigger, so more people. More money.
Yeah, right. More problems too.
Yeah.
So we've kind of compiled some of the data that we found, and kind of just Bugsy, just kind of break down where this money's going to. So we got a couple articles. We compiled the data, and also anything that we were reading from, any sources that we have, we'll put them in the description so you guys can check that out yourselves. We encourage that. That's what we want. We want you guys to learn more and us to learn more at the same time. All right, so you ready to start with the stimulus package? Talk about it, bud?
Yeah, me. The first one, loans and guarantees to businesses, or just the overall.
No, I'm saying if you're ready, I'll read it for you. If you're ready to get started,
Oh,
I'll read.
oh yeah, totally.
All right, if you're ready to get started. All right, so let's start with loans to businesses, state and local governments. They're going to get 500 billion. This includes up to 50 billion for passenger airlines, 8 billion for cargo carriers, 17 billion for businesses critical to maintaining national security. That's in quotations. Companies accepting loans that may not repurchase outstanding stock. They must maintain their employee levels as of March 13th, 2020 to the extent practicable. So basically, if it's whatever's possible when it's ever practical, if it's I can't say the dang word. If it's practicable, I can't say the damn word. I'm just gonna skip it. I can't read today. I'm sorry, guys.
That's really good.
And the bar raises for 2 years to executive earnings over 425,000 annually. Companies are not eligible for loans if top administration officials, members of Congress, or their families have 20% of the control. So basically, I like that. So if Congress, or if you're an administrative official, so like if you're the president or you're a member of Congress and you have 20%, or your family even have 20% control of the company, you're not going to get it looks better.
Yeah,
it just looks better. Like I'm just not paying my own business. But
yeah, I mean, it's crazy that people in Congress can have businesses because like they can vote on stuff to make their businesses better. But that's another podcast.
Yeah, the only issue I see with this is I get the people like, oh, we don't want Trump to, give money just to his businesses, but his employees didn't do anything, so I feel bad for them. I get why they did it because they don't want this bill to look shady, and they really wanted to get it through to help people out. But I just feel bad for those people because they didn't do anything.
Yeah,
like those people that work at those companies, they're not. We don't know if they're evil or they're just probably just normal working people that they need money too.
Yeah, most of everybody is just normal working people, and if they're not normal working people, they're probably normal unworking people. I don't know, non-working people. And I was just thinking too, it's just a funny thought, like all these, like all the freaking national security, maintaining that. Like a lot of that stuff is like comes from China for the composite material that they build bombs from steel, like and some of the circuit boards, printed circuit boards. A lot of that stuff comes from China. A lot of those semiconductors, transistors. I didn't think it was funny, but like. There is a trade going on still. We still need to get stuff from them. Like it's you know what I mean, and that is still going on. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. So some of that money is still going to China, and we're still buying stuff from them.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that, but that's a whole nother basket of eggs I'm not going to unpack today. All right,
sounds good to me.
All right, small businesses. This includes 350 billion in loans. Get that, loans, not credits, loans. Like we'll get to the $1,200 credit for certain Americans earning a certain amount. That's a credit. That means you don't have to pay it back. This is loans. It means these businesses have to pay this back, which is I get it why they can't just give them a couple $1 billion and say it's free. But loans for companies with 500 employees or fewer, which is from what all the research I've done, that's the standard. So if you have 500 employees or less, you're considered a small business, including nonprofits, self-employed people, and hotel and restaurant chains with no more than 500 workers per location. Government provides 8 weeks of cash assistance through loans to cover payroll, rent, and other expenses, much of which will be forgiven if the company retains workers. So that'd be good. I mean, that'd be nice for them, but they got to pay something back. They're not going to just give them a completely free loan. They're going to have to pay a little bit on it, then they might forgive them later if the economy starts rolling through.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as much as they can offer, Yeah. You got to do the arithmetic.
Yeah. Also, $17 billion to help small businesses repay existing loans, $10 billion for grants up to $10,000 for small businesses to pay operating costs. So it's not all going to big businesses, which is nice, and not all just to just not to the government. It's going to small businesses, which I think is nice because I know.
I'm just wondering, like, another just weird off the wall thought.
What's
You
that?
ever seen those like painting stores where they like paint and have wine?
Yeah.
Like you know they're probably drawing in rent and maybe like a couple of ramens a week, and like they get this and they're like get the stimulus package. They're starting to get like $5,000 from the. I'm pretty sure it's adjusted to what your normal income is as most.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's
But
distributed evenly. It's probably just enough. Like you probably have to request like I don't know this for sure, but I'd imagine as a business they would look at what you made last year and they would base the loan for that business off of that. They're not going to get like a company that's got 10 employees that made. Go ahead.
Business. You wouldn't start a business where you drink wine and I might get some flack for that one, but I think I just started imagining all the like weird, stupid businesses that are gonna get. I mean, they're not stupid, obviously. It'd probably be fun to drink wine and paint, but like, and that's a real thing. That's like businesses. That's like a thing. I don't know.
Hey,
I thought that was funny.
Anything could be a business nowadays. And just for the record, me and my wife went to one of those drink wine, paint things, and that was fun as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Like I got plastered on some wine and beers. I mixed it. That was a bad idea, and I drew one hell of a painting. So don't knock it until you try it. It's a lot of fun.
And beer.
Oh yeah.
Just mix it. It'd be like a fruit pack, a fruit.
No,
effervescent fruit drink.
No,
I'm not down in it. I just think it's just funny.
No, I started with beers, and then obviously, like, my wife couldn't finish her wine. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll just drink some of it, and then more wine.
Might as well spend $30 on this.
It just kept coming. No.
It's like $60 for 3 colors of paint and a bottle of wine. I'm out of here. I'm just. Oh shit, that's funny. Which was the next one? Emergency unemployment insurance.
Yeah, go ahead. You read that one.
Emergency unemployment insurance. $260 billion. Includes extra 13 weeks of coverage for people who have exhausted existing benefits. Also covers part-time, self-employed, gig economy workers, whatever the heck that is. Weekly benefit increase of up to $600. That's cool. Emergency unemployment insurance. Is that just unemployment?
No, that's a whole separate. That's hold on. Is that that's the emergency unemployment insurance? Yeah, that is unemployment. Yeah, so basically,
so that just goes.
Yeah,
that goes to the people.
That goes to the people that are on unemployment. I actually have another. So it means if you're a laid off worker, you'll get a $600 bonus per week on top of what you're already getting on unemployment, and that'll continue for 4 months, which I think that's kind of cool. I mean, it's not just going to. We'll get into when we talk about the economy thing later about the, where the money should go, where money could go, and opinions and stuff. But right now let's bring the facts first, then we can talk opinions later, because I think that's the easiest way to do it.
I like it.
Yeah. All right. You want to go to you want to read the next couple since they're small because I'm typing something real quick.
Sure. Because I could only read small words. I'm just fucking around.
Hey, you got dad brain, man. I just figured I'd cut you some slack and give you some easy ones.
Thank you. I was messing with you.
Oh, you're good, man.
Healthcare, $150 billion. Well, that's crazy. We're gonna go into that later. Includes $100 billion for grants to hospitals, public and nonprofit health organizations, Medicare, Medicaid, and suppliers, or Medicare and Medicaid suppliers. I'm sorry. Aid to state and local governments, $150 billion, with at least $1.5 billion for small states. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Direct payments to people. One-time payments of $1,200 per adult, $2,400 per couple, $500 per child. Amount to begin phasing out at $75,000, $150,000 per couple. What?
Okay. Here, hold on. Here, let me. You kind of cut out, so I'm gonna kind of break this down. So, what that phase out means? It means that the benefit goes down as the income goes up. So in the case that say you make $75,100, that's your income. Your check will be dropped by $5. So every $100 is you subtract $5 from what you're going to be getting from that check. So from that example, you'll get a check for $1,195, and this is a credit, so you don't have to pay this back. I think that's nice. So another example, say if you're a single filer and you make 85,000, your check will be 700. 1,200 minus the 500, and so it'll completely phase out once you hit 99,000 as a single filer and 198,000 as a married couple filing jointly, or 1,306. Oh wow, I can't. 136,500 for head of household. So people that are like single parents and stuff. Which
is this on top of unemployment?
Yeah, it's a credit. This is if you qualify. So yeah, this is on top of it from what I've seen. I mean, and if you've seen something else, please feel free to comment.
$75,000. I don't know anybody that makes $75,000 a year. I don't think. Probably do, but I don't.
I don't.
That sounds like a lot of money. I mean, I know people that make more. Okay, I do know people, but like.
None of your friends. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, none of my friends. Yeah, like nobody I hang out with makes $75,000 a year, which is and that's a. I was just curious. I'm like, and that's cool. That's just the tipping point. That's as high as it goes, and then you start not making money past that, or the curve goes lower for the money you get back, which is cool. Yeah. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's nice. I just
shovel out some of that spending money. Government people.
All right, tax breaks. Temporary waives penalty for virus-related early withdrawals and eases required minimal annual disbursements. Disreimbursements. There you go. From some retirement accounts, increases deductions for charitable contributions. Employers who pay furloughed workers can get tax credits for some of those payments. Postpone businesses payments of payroll taxes until 2021 or 2022. So
people are going to take advantage of that one.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that a lot of there's some things in here where I think the healthcare system is going to rob. I mean, I think they already, since they have obviously we're going to get into that later, but I think people are going to take advantage of that. Bad.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, I saw that, I reread that. Ooh, that's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have trust in the government and people, but I trust them to do what they do.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, I trust. I know it's like you trust somebody to do bad when you know somebody's going to do bad, and so you lock up your shit before they come over, and then. I'm pretty sure they know that's going to happen, so they're going to have rules on it. Obviously, they're not explaining that. That's another.
Yeah, this is just a summary.
That would actually be a boring show if we had that. But
yeah,
it might be interesting. I don't know.
Well, we have also we're going to have the actual stimulus bill in the link in the description if you want to check that out, because I actually went through and I tried to read some of it. It's very hard to read, honestly. It's hard for me at least.
As most government crap.
Yeah, you're probably smarter than me, and you might be able to make more sense of it. But I did use it to reference to find some of this and check some of this and it's pretty dodgy on some of the terminology, but for the most part it makes some sense. All right, Department of Homeland Security, they'll get $45 billion for a disaster relief fund to reimburse state and local governments for medical response, community services, and other measures. Extends federal deadline for people giving driver's licenses with enhanced security features called Real ID from October 21 to September 30, 2021.
Dude, yeah, give them as much money as possible. That's what I say.
Department of Homeland Security. You like that one? Why is that?
They're the world's police. We are the world. I mean, we take it out of context, but yeah, we save a lot of stuff in Europe from terrorism and all over the world, and it all obviously comes back to save our butts. But yeah, they do a good job. Our military is in the world. Our intelligence is the best, and yeah, in this time of and really though, if we quarantine, if nobody's coming in, even though we do have people that's from certain places, or is the whole country sealed off yet? I don't know.
It's I think I don't know. I know
no,
I know there's only it's all like non-essential travel is blocked, but anything essential is okay. It's all non-essential travel. And I know there was a joint effort between Mexico and U.S. and also us and Canada where we closed the borders for anything that wasn't non-essential.
Yeah, Canada should be closing the borders on us. I mean, we're closing the border. Mexico's like, why haven't you guys built the wall yet? Because we don't. I mean, I don't know what the infection rate. I just thought it'd be a funny flip on things. I don't know any of the statistics for the Canada outbreak, but apparently we're doing pretty bad.
Well, I mean, as we get more tests out, we're obviously going to get more positives. I mean,
obviously,
that's just the thing. I mean, we could be like, if we want our numbers to go down, we can just be like China and just stop testing people. I mean, that's a.
In all reality, how long has this been around? We might have already had it and got rid of it. It's like
Oh, obviously we haven't had it because then we wouldn't see this death rate in elderly like we've been seeing. But
I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. All right, let's move on. We're getting off topic a little bit. All right. All right. Education. They'll get
Homeland education. 31 billion.
Yeah, go ahead. You read it since you started.
Education, 31 billion, included 13.5 billion for states to distribute to local schools and programs. 14 billion to help universities and college. If nobody's going to school, I mean, I get it. You got to pay the teachers or. Pay the. I don't know. I just don't. You got
to pay the teachers.
You're gonna pay. But the teachers can file for unemployment. So
they could, but they're
filing for unemployment.
But okay, go ahead. Finish your point, then I'll make my point.
All right. Well, it's just confusing for me. It seems like they're paying people that are already. And okay, let's say, and schools don't get taxed, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well then, they're bailing them out so they can pay their taxes.
No, so they got to think you got to pay your teachers' salaries. There's some universities and schools that are still teaching kids and they're still working. They're just doing it from home and the best of their ability. I know, like my daughter's school, that she still does her school plan. She does a little video, and then we got like a packet, like of work for the next couple weeks. So they're still they're still working, and I know a lot of universities are switching to online, like anything that can be done online, they're doing it online. So the teachers are still working, so they still got to pay their salaries. So I could see why that there's a chunk of that money going to universities and schools.
But then they're not getting paid because the person that going to school lost their job because of COVID. I'm just confused. Like who's pay? Like McDonald's. Everybody at McDonald's still works at McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just you can't go inside. So they might have had to cut some personnel or just switch some of the personnel to do something else.
Well, think of it the same way. Like the teachers are still working. Like most from what I know, teachers are still working from schools. You just can't go into the school. They're teaching.
Yeah.
So they're still getting paid. They still need to get paid. Like you can't.
Why they're getting bailed out?
Because no one's paying tuition because no one's going to school. Like no one's physically going there.
Yeah, so nobody's physically going there. So it's just like gas. I just don't. I mean, I get it, but I still don't get it. Like, the kids pay their tuition. The teachers get paid. Everything's still working fine. I don't get it. Like, I mean.
Well, there's other businesses that get rolled up into college universities. There's also people that work on those universities that aren't teachers too. Like there's people that work for the university to do other things. Like you got to think janitorial. I know there's not people there right now, but those people
don't they get unemployment?
Yeah, but we can't. The whole problem can't just be solved by everyone going on unemployment, though. That can't be the whole solution to the problem. You can't.
So you're going to give $14 billion or wait, how is it? $31 billion to all the, not just to one university, obviously, but to all the universities.
Yeah.
It's just, I get it, but they're still getting paid tuition. Everything's still running. That's like that's a microcosm that kind of pays itself and does everything itself.
Agree to disagree.
I think.
I mean, well, we can. Like,
I can understand.
If anybody out there listening knows more about why the educational system is getting this money, comment, let us know, so that way we can. Like, obviously, we don't know too much about the education system because we're us, but.
That was the argument. Why would they need it? I feel like it's a microcosm. He doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
And then the next one, coronavirus treatment. I'd say, how can the education get 31 billion when the coronavirus treatment is only getting 27 billion for research and development?
Yeah, I think those. Yeah, I agree with that. I think they should have got more. Honestly, that.
I think they need to cut off a lot of this fat, to be honest, and go more on the research of a vaccine when you're only spending a small portion on actually saving lives when you're trying to save the trillions. Everything doesn't. People need help, but the people that got fired need help, and that's like a lot of people are still doing their stuff. You still need trees removed. You still need all this. All of everything is very important into the life. Hardware stores. Everything's pretty much still open except like clothing stores and restaurants that have dining. Most people do carry out now. And people that aren't doing carry out, they should be delivering the food because that's what the servers should be doing now. Delivering the food. There's the jobs. But obviously, that's my own little thing. And
I mean, there's other costs in that, the gas and stuff. I get what your point is. Like you're saying, like make an opportunity of this pandemic of like, hey, we can still employ our employees just in different creative ways. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but you have to run the risk of an employee going to a person's house, and then you have to cover that, and that's a whole big liability right there.
Well, that's the thing is that's where we need that money for the research. There should be. We haven't got there yet, maybe not, but more coronavirus stuff like tests, and safe ways to do these tests, and maybe setting up those businesses that failed for it. I don't know. Next one.
All right.
Transportation. You got to give some money to the public transit system for $25 billion, $10 billion for publicly owned commercial airports intended to sustain about 500,000, 430,000 transit jobs, $1 billion for Amtrak,
which is that railroad company, right?
Yeah, that is pretty like dude. For just for average people want to go somewhere else and they don't want to fly or drive, so you got a train. They're still around apparently.
Hey, I've never been on a train trip like that. I think it'd be fun. I mean, obviously not now. I'm not going on any dang train, but
yeah.
I ain't getting on a train right now.
Like 40 people in one cart.
Just everyone breathing on each other.
Yeah, like 20 miles an hour. Like, at least the plane you'll get there reasonably fast, but train I just imagine going slow over like planes, seeing like buffalo running and shit. Right. Yeah, save them. Yeah, the public transit. Another thing I don't get, if they're fired from a bus driver gets fired, they go on unemployment. Why does the government need to give these empty bus stations or like? I don't get it. Why are they giving them all this money if all the workers are on? And that's what the money's going to.
Well, they get all those people that are working for them because they're considered essential, so they need money to keep running, even though no one's using it. Which I don't. You're right. It's kind of a loop of like redundancy.
Oh, I'm having a feeling people are gonna having a payday. I think just some people, because if you own a private business and the money gets to these people and they're like, here, do this. And let's just say you're like, nobody does the research. Most of these people probably have like, I don't know, lobbyists or I don't know. I wish there would be somebody would do some hardcore research. I wish it would work out fine and nice, but I just think there's a lot of money going to places that don't need to go to.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna read this next one. It's one I like. $20 billion. Including $16 billion for treating veterans at VA facilities and $3 billion for temporary mobile facilities. I like this one. I you got to take care of your veterans, like point blank. That's just
one thing. Also, I was just thinking that why didn't they do this beforehand? Maybe if they spend all this money to these agencies, like they might have been able to have like an extra person to clean, or you know what I mean. Like education needed money anyway, like you know what I mean. Our public transit system needed all like. Well, I get it. They're saving the They're trying to save the economy somehow by.
They're just it's more or less they're just trying to keep people afloat right now.
The unemployment, that's one. That's only a small portion of what they're doing. Right. And obviously the businesses, but let's keep on going.
All right. Food and agriculture. $15.5 billion for food stamps. So basically if you're on food stamps, that pot of money is getting billions of dollars for you. 14 billion. What?
Never mind, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
you lost your place. All right. $14 billion for supporting farm income and crop prices. $9.5 billion for specific producers, including specialty crops, dairy, and livestock. $8.8 billion for child nutrition. And and this is weird. It just says money for food banks and farmers markets. I would like to know how much money is going into food banks, because I think that's more important than some of these too. Like, there's a lot of people that don't have any, that rely on these food banks that are homeless, and if those food banks are gonna get flooded more than for people that are losing their jobs. Like, I wish they would disclose the number right there. What's going there? It might be in the bill, and I just didn't see it, but.
I don't even understand $8 billion. Is the $8.8 billion in child nutrition? Is that like
maybe this is a typo and it's supposed to be a comma there, and it's supposed to be for $8.8 billion for child nutrition, money for food banks and farmers markets. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll chalk that up. We'll have to. Yeah. Link in the description. Read the bell and see that for yourself. But that's what it looks like it says.
I dig that one though. Yeah, we just gave the farmers $16 billion. Last summer for that trade thing with China, trade wars with China, because
they stopped buying
they stopped buying our soy to get back at the Trump supporters, and that's how they sell their soybeans. I guess we sold them to China, so we had to bail them out $16 billion, which sucks because they were, hardworking Americans, and like that really screwed them over. And it's awesome that we bailed them out. And we're going to do it again.
I mean,
and those people need the money. These are, these industries. I don't think so. Like airplane company. I imagine these are like farmers though. But these are probably companies too. Big, humongous companies.
Yeah, big slot. Probably like big meat distributors and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, we have to eat. That's the supply chain. But like I said, these. Food and agriculture, these guys are not. Let's see, $14 billion for supporting farm income, crop prices. Okay, that's just to keep the crop prices. The 9.5 specific producers, 9.5 billion, and that's nothing. That's like literally a drop in the bucket for them, just to be like, hey, if anything goes wrong, here's some money.
Oh yeah, it's the numbers are starting to get less and less as we go down this list. So let's move on to the next one, defense. So $10.5 billion for the Defense Department, including $1.5 billion to nearly triple the 4,300 beds currently in military hospitals, which is nice. We need to increase our health, like any way we can. We need to increase our ICU beds in our healthcare industry. $1.4 billion for states to deploy up to 20,000 members of the National Guard for 6 months. That's nice. I talked about last episode. I think we should be deploying more National Guard members to help distribute stuff. Like, we have these resources. Let's use them. This is what they're here for. $1 billion under Defense Protection Act to help provide industry boost. Let me reread that. $1 billion under the Defense Protection Act to help private industry boost production of medical gear. Also, I like that. We need to get more of those N95 masks, more ventilators out there. This is specific in here. Money cannot be used to build President Donald Trump's proposed wall along the Mexican border. I love how that's specific in the bill. Like, you can't use this money for your damn wall.
Oh, that's funny. I bet Mexico wish that border was up now. They're like, get your sick people away from us.
This is a little off topic, but hey, it's like, you don't want the pandemic to spread to you, Mexico? Build the damn wall yourselves.
And then they do it, and he delivers. Oh, I would love it.
I think that's dumb, but it's funny. No, it's just a dumb joke.
I like it.
It's a joke, by the way, guys. That would be funny, though, if he did something like that. Like, I can see it now. Breaking news. Mexico built the damn wall.
They did it in a week and a half. A week and a half. They did it. You guys.
Whoa, hold on.
Oh my god, that'd be funny.
Oh, I messed up. Oh, there we go. I clicked on something where I was playing the stream over again. So I apologize for that. People listening back later on YouTube, there's gonna be a weird audio feedback right there for a second. I apologize for that. All right,
Let's cut it out. Go ahead.
Well, we'll cut out that whole section we just did. I'm not gonna cut that out. It's just a funny little joke. It'll be fine.
All right, cool.
All right, social programs includes $3.5 billion in grants for childcare and early educational programs, $1 billion in grants to help communities address local economic problems, $900 million in heating cooling aid for low-income families, $75 million or $750 million for extra staffing for Head Start programs. So, I mean, I'm trying to break this one down. Hold on. So, grants for childcare and early education programs to help communities address local economic problems. That's very vague. So, like, is that like a local community can just request, like, say, hey, we need this much money compared to another one, and they're gonna, like, that's very vague. I don't like.
Dude, crooks are gonna love this because oh shit, my phone's about to die. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think crooks are gonna love this, man, because this, you know, anytime disaster, what happens? People start freaking looting, and this time it's the suits. And I think this. No, seriously, look at this. This is all going everywhere. You know, the only people that are going to get this are people that are. It's like in Ohio, it's illegal to grow weed everywhere, but 5 companies can. You know what I mean? Same way with California, it's a federal crime. But like, if you know the right people and you rub elbows with the right people in the government, you can legally break the law. And I think this is This is going to be a feeding frenzy.
You can legally you can legally break the law.
Well, yeah, if you rub the right elbow. California, and the people that are doing it there legally are suits. They're people that get about 500. Like, no normal person can just start a business anymore. Like, yeah, you got small businesses, but still, you got to get loaned. It's like.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. Ready to move on from that?
About,
Go. Oh, sorry. You like cut out for a sec. What'd you say?
I just said this level of money and going to these certain areas they're going to be feeding frenzy for crooks and suits.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. You want to read the next one? Economic aid.
Yeah. Economic aid. $5 billion in community development block grants to help state and local governments expand health facilities, child care centers, food banks, and senior services. $4 billion in assistance for homeless people. $3 billion for low-income renters. $1.5 billion to help communities rebuild local industries, including tourism, industry supply chains, business loans, and $300 million for fishing industry.
Yeah, I don't get the $300 million for the. Okay, so maybe I'm thinking small scale. I'm thinking, why the hell is Bass Pro getting this $300 million? But that's not what it means. That's not what it means.
I know.
I know you mean
it.
In my head, that's where my head went right off the bat, and I'm like, wait, that's not right.
Yeah, it's just I thought that would be more of a fishing industry. I don't know what that is.
That's more.
That's like that.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be more agricultural, and like if there isn't, they're sending any money to the agricultural field or whatever. I don't know. We haven't got there yet. I don't think they are, but I guess that's nice. $300 million. That's still like a drop in the bucket for the government. They don't.
Yeah, there's like it's like, here, you people, you fishermen off the coast of Alaska. Here's your little bit of money right here. You're risking your lives out there.
Let's keep these simpletons happy. They like their fishing and draft beer.
Not that small scale fishing. I'm thinking like big industrial fishing boats. I think that where that money's going to. Not Joe Schmo on the side of a small lake getting bass.
I know, I was joking. but yeah, fisheries. Yeah, dude, those are things that are important. That's how we get our food. But that should have went with the.
With the food.
Agriculture, yeah,
food and agriculture. It's a type of farming. You're farming fish.
So. Yeah. So I don't know if that's exactly what they're talking about. But next subject.
All right, Native American communities, $2 billion for healthcare, equipment, schools, and other needs for the Native American community. So Native American communities like reservations, places like that. I'm assuming it doesn't include casinos, but that's a joke.
Well, the reservations are on the casinos.
That's true. Yeah, right. True. Yeah. So that's kind of that's kind of cool because I think I'm not 100% sure on this, but from what I would know about the reservations, I know people that live on them, they usually don't go outside the reservations for healthcare. So the fact that they at least thought like, hey, we should probably help them out too, with their own like their small knit communities, like you know what I mean. I think that's nice. I like that.
Yeah, I think that they should have done that a long time ago. I was like, there's been a freaking drug epidemic. They're like half their you know what I mean? Like those reservations are pretty bad from what I've read in all the documentaries I read. That the lifestyle and the life of the Native Americans are with the opioid epidemic.
Oh, really?
Is this? I mean, but that's with every, but it really Native Americans. So that's another one I'd be like, should have did it earlier, but it's nice they're doing it now.
Yeah. All right. Diplomacy, $1.1 billion, including $324 million to evacuate Americans and diplomats overseas, $350 million to help refugees, $258 million an International Disaster Act, $88 million for the Peace Corps to evacuate its volunteers abroad. I like this, honestly. Just people that are stuck overseas because of the of all the lockdowns and shutting the borders down to
no man left behind.
I like that. I'm 100% with that.
Get
one.
them quarantined, and they need the money to get them quarantined before they introduce them back into our society.
Yep, and they got to go through that whole waiting period, and whether in that waiting period, they got to be in those facilities. There's got to be a place for them to sleep. All that. Yeah,
so
I like
neither of us are against that one.
No, I'm all for that one. If you disagree with it, go ahead and put it in the comments, and we'll argue about it or discuss it. Discuss it. One. Go ahead.
Yeah, watch what you say. Elections, $400 million to help states prepare for 2020 elections with steps, including expanded vote by mail, additional polling locations. One, there will be no polling locations because this crap is not going to be going on soon. I don't believe.
I mean,
and vote by mail. Screw this electronic going in there. Let's just vote by mail because it is so pain in the butt to freaking go there. Early voting with the freaking mail is the best way. People don't like that. Because they know the lazy, liberal is probably not going to go do it on voting day, and they'd rather vote it in.
The lazy Republican even is not even going to go out there. It's just anybody. But regardless of a political party, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm going to say just lazy all around. Lazy Americans.
Just broaden us.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm going to make my point on this. You have a lot of faith in the Postal Service that if you just want everyone to do mail, like, have you ever tried to get a package through United States Postal Service sometimes?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's crazy. Yeah, but I actually have faith in the United States Postal Service. Those guys are the bomb.
Oh, individually, yes, but I mean, if you just imagine that mass flood of mail that that company's not used to seeing, there's going to be some flaws and mistakes, and there's going to be all kinds of people like saying fraud and all this other crap. And it's just I like the additional polling location. Let's spread people out because some people are not going to want to trust the mail. That's my perspective on it.
But you can go see there's apps on your phone where you can go see if you actually voted. You can see all the people. They can't tell you who you voted for, but you can see because it's public information.
Let's talk about apps here and voting. Do you remember the Iowa caucus? What happened there?
But that wasn't a voting app. It was an app that that your vote was in. You know what I mean? Like that you voted to make sure. Like, hey, did my vote even count? And you go scroll through and be like, okay, it doesn't tell you who you voted for, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, I wouldn't trust anything on the internet for a voting thing because Yeah, we already know.
Yeah, right. But I do like
already know.
I do like the additional polling locations just because like I said, a lot of people aren't going to want to vote by mail. A lot will. That's great, but try to spread people out, minimize the risk, because eventually we can't have everybody shut in forever. Like once November hits, I'd imagine people are going to be. I would hope at least by November we're back to some sort of normalcy. It's not going to be perfect, but by then I would hope a lot of people have already either gotten this or developed some sort of immunity to it, and where it's not going to be as a pandemic, as big of a pandemic as it is now. Like I would hope by November we have people with immunity and we can get back to some sort of normalcy. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever will be after this one.
We'll see. We'll see. No, we can't. No one knows. We don't know. Even the experts can't tell the future. This is just we're playing it by ear. We're just rolling with the punches.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's somebody that can mold it into something.
Yeah, well,
that's my conspiracy theory going on in there.
Of course it is.
Obviously.
All right. This one I don't get this one, but we're gonna get a kick out of this one. The arts programs. Okay. $150 million for federal grants. Grants. This is grants, by the way. This is not loans. This is grants to state and local arts and what is that? What is that? Hold on. What is that? Hold on. Humanities programs. What? $75 million for corporation for public broadcasting. $25 million for Washington D.C. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
Wow. They almost paid as much to Washington for art. They paid. Wait, no, that's million. They did billion for the.
Yeah, they did billions for other things.
Research.
I'm just wondering why is the Washington D.C. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts? Why are they specifically getting $25 million?
Maybe they donated to other places.
They grease the right palms.
If that was the case, that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't get most of this stuff. I mean, I get it, but like, why?
Yeah,
it's art, dude. Everybody thinks differently about it, and I get it. Like, kids to learn how to play the violin and like play piano and have access to those types of instruments. So I just wanted to see how this money is getting spent, because they do this automatically anyway. I just want a more definitive answer of how they. And this is probably the greatest thing ever happened, because we get to actually analyze how they spend money. And I don't know. I think they're spending it like idiots. Coronavirus treatment, unemployment, and keep these businesses afloat till we can get these people back to work.
Yeah,
and food, and but
there's definitely a lot of fat that could have been trimmed off. Like I think this could have waited, honestly. Like, cause I mean, hell, some people think banana taped to a damn wall is art, and
oh yeah,
I don't agree with that. I'm sorry.
I'm hoping that they're just doing the violin instructions at homes to 50 fucking. I'm sorry, cuss. So many kids. Like, that's where I was like, I got all mad. Then I was like, oh, children learning music. When my heart turns into butter.
I mean, yeah, music's cool and all, but like, this is a stimulus package to try to jumpstart the economy. I don't like if you see it helping, like that's great. I mean, there's probably some workers that need this, but it's something that I think could have been left out and. Money could have been spent elsewhere for now.
Yeah, look.
That's just my opinion, though.
I agree. This is an emergency money package that save our economy. So.
Okay. Do you want to read our favorite one? We talked about this earlier. This is probably the biggest piece of pork that could have been chopped off of this. Yeah, not the biggest piece, but it's definitely a good chunk of pork that why? There's There's a small section in this that I think, hey, that can stay. But go, just read it. Just read it.
I got something to say before I read this. These corporate fat cats think they can walk in and just take all the money.
All right, so Congress, $93 million, including $25 million for the House, $10 million for the smaller Senate for teleworking and other. $25 million for cleaning the Capitol and congressional office buildings.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in right here. The only part of that I actually kind of agree with is the 25 million for cleaning the Capitol and congressional office buildings. Because anybody that's been to the Capitol, it's a litter and just trash everywhere is a horrible problem there anyway. So while people aren't walking around, let's use some money and clean that place up because it is our nation's capital. We should want it to look nice, and instead it's just tons of homeless people around there. Like I have nothing wrong with homeless people, but like it looked like the people are like it's more normal people that live around there. They're just throwing trash on the ground and people aren't picking up after themselves. That's more the bigger issue, anyways. And it's just it's our capital. It should look nice there, not like a dump, and it does.
I think it is what it is. And it's probably a reflection of how good of a job they're doing. Because if those guys are, driving home in Cadillac limousines to these big states and, giving $25 million to the Kennedy Center so some kids can put a toilet on a canvas, I don't know. I think
put a toilet on a canvas.
I'm just saying. I'm like, that's it, man. It doesn't surprise me that these guys are filthy rich. They are. They're millionaires. All of the Congress. I mean, just to even try to get into, being in politics, you need money. You need millions of dollars for your ads. You got to rub the right person. These guys get to pass the law and paying themselves. This is probably nothing to them compared to what they get from other businesses and whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. I'd like to say hope that some of them, but even Bernie Sanders, like, he's a millionaire, like, straight up. Like, yep. What? And he's like, talking about all this stuff, and, like, they asked him straight up, like, don't you have, are you worth over $1 billion? And, hear him fumble. Like, I don't care who you are and how, these guys are crooks. And everybody knows it, but, like.
I just want to point out a Bernie joke that I really find funny is if you listen to like most of his clips from like 10, 15 years ago when he's talking about like when he's proposing socialism, he's like, the millionaires are the problem. The millionaires are the issues. And now he's a millionaire and he's like, let's bump it up. The billionaires are the issue. The top 1%. He like hit that threshold and he's like, it's not bad up here. You know what? The billionaires are the issue, not me.
Yeah,
it's just hypocritical. Like I'm all for him having his opinion. I would love to talk to anybody that thinks socialism is the answer because I would love to hear why you think it is, and I would love to have a discussion about that. But I will take any opportunity to make fun of any politician because it's funny.
Yeah, they're in the public, so we get to make fun of them.
Oh, and
that's our job.
That's
our job as citizens of America is to antagonize these guys. I mean,
I wouldn't use antagonize. I would use the word criticize.
In the realm of funny and truthful, criticize, exactly. But obviously,
you want to antagonize them, poke them with a stick.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I mean. That's what it's all about. We're American. There's a tipping point, but as far as just poking fun, I'll make fun of anything and everybody, but
yeah,
mainly myself though.
That's not too hard to do.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, so I think that's the last one, and yeah, so that's everything. Want to hear what you guys think? What do you think could have been added to it? Where do you think the money could have gone compared to other things? What do you think could just been cut out completely? We want to hear your thoughts and your feedback in the comment section. So yeah. Also, so we done with the stimulus bill. What was the other? Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. Oh yeah, we wanted to talk about. I just lost it. Okay, we want to talk. Yeah, just touch on this. This is not really. It's part of the stimulus package, but it's not. It's its own separate act, and I kind of wanted to kind of touch on the Emergency Paid and Sick Leave Act because it's referenced a lot through this bill, and I think it'd be beneficial for people to at least be aware of it and know about it. Like if you qualify for paid sick time requirements, because I know like some companies are just like, we're just not going to pay you, or like, what did our company do last week? Or you weren't here. Never mind, you weren't here. You weren't here for this. So I'll just tell you what they said, Ralph, or Yin. So I messed that up. You messed it up last time. I messed it up this time. So they pretty much just offered us like, hey, as of right now, but this is in effect now, this Leave Act. But they're talking about they're trying to get people like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable being here, you can take a volunteer layoff. And people asked, first question, are we guaranteed our jobs back? And they said no, we can't guarantee anything. So who's going to take a layoff just to get unemployment when the company's still working as of right now? You know what I mean?
I would definitely.
I'd rather them force
get
me
a full
out.
Paycheck.
Yeah, well, as I can still make a full paycheck, I'd rather make that money instead of them force me out because they have to close down for some reason, and then I'll go to the last resort. I wouldn't just like, I don't feel like being here. You know what I mean?
I won't lie, I'd be tempted.
I know you already have 3 months off for maternity leave
so many
though.
Projects I got to do at home.
You have what? Wait, are you off for 3 months for maternity leave?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm gonna. I gotta go and talk to them. See what I have a feeling they might try to do something, which is cool. They have we both. I don't know. It's cool.
All right, so
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act, and just read through what the requirement is. So I'm gonna read this straight from the bill. I might paraphrase a little bit here and there to cut out some of the there's a lot of where it says in reference to paragraph this and this. I might cut that out and just read what the actual meat of it is, not the extra crap. So section 5102, paid sick time requirement. In general, an employer shall provide to each employee employed by the employer paid sick time to the extent that the employee is unavailable to work or telework due to a need for leave because, and there's six. It's broken down into 6 reasons. 1, the employee is subject to a federal, state, or local quarantine or isolation in order related to COVID-19. So, as of we're reading this, when this act goes into effect, if you are put into quarantine or isolation because you have COVID-19 or something related to that, then you're entitled to paid time sick leave. Number 2, the employee has been advised by a health care provider to self-quarantine due to concerns related to COVID-19. This one's kind of shaky because if you could just call a doctor right now, like, because a lot of hospitals are not allowing patients to come into the hospital because of all this. So you could just call the doctor to say, I'm having a hard time. You could just list off the symptoms and they would just say, yeah, self-quarantine.
And then you get paid for that.
Yeah, so that one's...
I'm telling you, this is going to be a feeding frenzy.
Yeah,
man. They're not going to know what's going to hit them if they keep on making stupid rules like this.
Like, I get the precaution of it, but there should have, like, that one's a tough one because people are going to take advantage of that one.
But they also might. Most people that's smart enough know that their government's going to take forever. If you ever try to file for unemployment, it takes forever, and they fight you. And I'm sure they're going to fight you even with this stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, oh, give us a doctor, blah blah blah. But you're like, well, we couldn't go to the doctor, but you're still supposed to receive. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna make it. They don't make it easy, and they shouldn't, because most of the lazy people are gonna give up. It's the people that really need it that are gonna get it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's what we want. But America has a way of just saying, or everywhere in the world has a way of just exploiting, the weaknesses. It's a human trait.
Yeah,
We're awesome at it.
Unfortunately, yeah. All right, number 3. The employee is experiencing symptoms of COVID-19 and seeking a medical diagnosis. So, say you have symptoms and you're unable to get into the doctor for some reason, then you're apparently entitled to this, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I get why it's erring on the side of caution. That's another thing someone could take advantage of, which is a scary thought. Like this, I could just see this is just money being funneled out of businesses that even like imagine a small business that couldn't afford this. They have to do this now. That's scary. But luckily, they're getting a bunch of money from a stimulus package, so hopefully that helps them. Hopefully,
they're gonna get money. They're gonna get money from the stimulus package from a government that just paid themselves to give it to a company to pay themselves. So the government that they're gonna like file for unemployment. I was like, it seems just like a big trickle down like a Ponzi scheme. You know what I mean? Like everybody's getting paid on top of getting paid.
Oh,
and then they're gonna give every American like here's an extra $600 while we give this guy $35 million to shit on a kid. He's smearing around while he's naked. That's odd. And Joe Schmo out in freaking Wisconsin, that meat packer for like $15 an hour, drawing in like $400 a week, gets a freaking like $300, $250 unemployment check, and then a $600 bonus. Like, dude, that's the way it's gonna look though, dude. Because unemployment for somebody that's making like $400 is gonna be like $250, and if you get the taxes taken out, maybe like $225. Like, they rape you, and then that extra $600 is just like throwing a freaking used condom on a freaking hooker's face. Sorry, kids.
Sorry, I don't think any kids are listening to this, but
yeah.
I just like how you went in your example in your head. The job went to meatpacker. I just found that funny.
I don't know. Some fucking Joe Schmo, dude. Like, just like me, dude. I'm Joe Schmo #1, bro.
So you're a meatpacker then. I'm just kidding.
I don't pack that. I haven't packed that kind of meat in years.
All right, so let's move on. Let's go. All right, so number 4, the employee is caring for an individual who is subject to an order as described in subparagraph 1. So if they're in quarantine, or has been advised as described in paragraph 2. So if your family member has been advised by a provider or medical care provider or to self-quarantine due to something related to COVID-19. Again, you can just tell your employer, hey, you can just like it's open to lies, and it scares the crap out of me because it's just gonna. There's so many dishonest people.
Lying. They're just like one of my homies. She was like, I have a respiratory problem, and it was at this like thrift store. It's like they sell used stuff. Let's say it's bargain junk. That's the name of the store. They just have a whole bunch of stuff. And they have like 2 aisles of food. And somehow this place is still open. And there's just a whole bunch of people congregated everywhere. Like, just it's not a business that needs to be open. There's like 2 aisles of canned food. And like, what? But the person has a respiratory problem. She was like,
you there, bud? You cut out completely.
I'm not doing this. You got to take care. Oh, I did? Oh, well, I was on a roll. Damn it.
You cut out completely. If you could go back like 10 seconds, you cut out completely. It's just like, bit, and then that's all you hear.
Even I've had something happen with like that. But I was just basically saying, some people they're very liable. What if you're like, crap, I got emphysema. And, they work with it. And it's not really like medically, you know what I mean? Don't have a doctor or whatever. You need to they're like, they know their risk. So they call the doctor and get, yeah, people can take advantage of it, but it's made to where people can use it because just as precautionary. Because they're like, this person has like 6 kids and, like they have, respiratory problems, and they work in a retail business where there's like high volume of rando people, and like, yeah, I get it, dude. Yeah. But I understand people are going to be abusing the hell out of this.
Yeah, that's the only thing that by nature I can see people abusing it. But I like that it's I'm torn because I like that it's there for the people that actually need it, but I just see people taking advantage of it, and that I don't like that. Just, you know what I mean?
They know they're not. Yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't think they're going to get a lot. They know they're going to be getting a pay cut. It's humongous. They'd rather be working or make. We want more money. That's the way it is.
You would hope so.
Even though it's easy money, but I'm sure people would rather be able to drive around and have more money. And that's what's. I think greed will get us through this. And I think greed is what's in. I think the economy's probably booming right now.
No, it's
Shit's
not.
flying off. Oh, okay, yeah. The people that are applying for unemployment, that's gonna hit a freaking curve before COVID-19 does.
Yeah, the economy is not booming, but there's definitely certain companies that are doing well. Like Amazon's doing really well because like any online distributor that doesn't actually have like a actual shop is probably doing really well right now.
Or if you serve food and you can serve it takeout. I can understand.
You're not gonna do as well with takeout as people actually coming into your restaurant. You're not gonna do as well because
I think you do
a lot of people
better
go to,
because it's in and out, man.
well, a lot of people
Out.
a lot of people want to go to a restaurant for the atmosphere, not just I want to grab their food and go. I mean, there's some restaurants, but I know a lot of restaurants that I don't like going to get their food. I go there like. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like there's this like an upscale like steak restaurant. You're not going to like it's like really fancy and they treat you real well with good service. You're paying for an experience. You're not going to just call them for a $45 steak to pick it up and take it home. You know?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I get it. I don't know because I'm not that. I go to places for food. I go in there and I eat like I do at my house. Like somebody's about to take my food, I eat it really fast. And,
like you just got out of prison.
If you get too close, yeah. I like breathing out of my nose so I can get more food in at a time. But yeah, I get it. But I've never I was prepared for this crap, man. Because ever since I've known, I hated crowds. I'm like, ew, gross. Restaurants, I'm like, ew, gross. You know what they do back? Like. Do you know who's cooking your food? And then I've always thought that. I was like, who's cooking my food? I don't know this person. And then I started working, dishwashing, meeting these people that cook this food. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat at home tonight.
All right,
I'm going to eat at home.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Number 5. The employee is caring for a son or daughter of such employee if the school or place of care of the son or daughter has been closed or the child care provider of such son or daughter is unavailable due to COVID-19 precautions. This is nice, so if like obviously daycare, like I know for example in Ohio, daycare, I mean pretty much anywhere actually I think, daycare centers are pretty much closed down. So
smart move.
I mean, yeah, schools in any place where a lot of people congregate are usually germ factories anyway. So
yeah, dude, kids are disgusting. They are.
Yeah. They wouldn't even like. The thing is, like most kids wouldn't even be because it's not hurting kids as much, and they're not as likely to get as severely in a severe condition. I know there's a couple of cases where people are, but most kids would just be carriers and they would take it to their grandparents, and I see that being a bigger issue. You know what I mean? So I like this. You got to do what you got to do. You got to take care of your kids first, your family first, man.
Yeah, that is true. In most cases.
All right, number 6. The employee is experiencing any other substantially similar conditions specified by the Secretary of Health and Human Services in consolidation with the Secretary of the Treasury and the Secretary of Labor.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one's very, very broad.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody's going to take advantage of that too.
Right. And there's a section after that except that an employer of an employee who is a healthcare provider or an emergency responder may elect to exclude such employee from the application of this subsection. So basically, if you're an emergency responder or a healthcare provider, if your employer says nope, then yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah.
That's how I interpret that. I could be completely wrong, but the way that sounded, it sounds like if you're in a hospital and they're like, no, we need you. You're not like. If you're sick, we're not going to pay you. We need to use that money. I get that actually starts to make sense. We need to pay this other person to be here if you can't be here because the hospital needs as much money as it can get right now, honestly.
Yeah, and an interesting fact, New York City, $10,000 a day to be a nurse. That's
Wow.
ridiculous. $10,000 a day. I mean, I'm guessing that also depends on a lot of things, but you can make upwards of that much money. But you're also risking your life. But you're also saving others. So, like, interesting fact. But go on.
All right, so then I'm going to touch on the duration of it, and then when it's terminated, I'll read a little bit more on it, and then we'll move on. So the duration of paid sick time leave, in general, the employee shall be entitled to paid sick time for the amount of hours determined under the next paragraph. The amount of hours of paid sick time which an employee is entitled to should be as follows. For full-time employees, 80 hours, so 2 work weeks, so they're working bi-weekly. And for part-time employees, a number of hours equal to the number of that's really weird. A number of hours equal to the number of hours that such employee works on average over a 2-week period. So if you work an average of 40 hours over 2 weeks, that's what you're entitled. So they take your hourly wage over the couple 2-week periods and average that together, and that's what you're entitled for your paid sick time leave. Carryover paid sick time under this section shall not carry over from 1 year to the next. So you can't accumulate this stuff. I'm glad they put that in there. Could you imagine if they made this indefinite?
Oh yeah, people would love it.
Okay, so employer's termination of paid sick time. Paid sick time provided by an employee provided to an employee under this act shall cease beginning with the employee's next scheduled work shift immediately following the termination of the next need for paid sick time under subsection A. So that's back to back to in general, employee shall provide employee paid sick time unable to work. So basically, if you're no longer in any of the 6 categories I read earlier, that's when they can turn. That's worded so weird, but that's generally what that means.
Everybody's good.
Yeah. So basically, they're going to keep you there until that. But yeah, go on.
I just think America's got the greatest thing other than vacation. As far as like businesses go, like our average working thing. This is off coronavirus anyway. But like, we're the best. Other than family medical leave for maternity, which most people get paid in Europe and other places, which is awesome. And then they get like mandatory, like a month vacation, which is also awesome.
Yeah, but their taxes are a lot higher than ours, which is not awesome. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay lower in taxes than all that stuff, because that's how that stuff gets funded, is higher tax rates. And no thank you.
Yeah, just a little bit, just for that maternity leave.
you only care about that now because you have kids now, and you're like, oh, I would love to just get paid to. I get it though. I mean, I have kids. I would have loved for the first 3 months of their lives, or 6, or however long. Even 6. I think 6 is a good number. First 6 months of their lives, if I could just got paid from, like, if the employer was like, we're gonna foot your bills for a little bit, even just like 3/4 of my pay would have been super nice. Not to we'll pay you a little bit. That'd have been super nice. But I get why. No.
Oh yeah, I get it too. But man, or just in the vacation, a month of vacation. Obviously, like I think they get it right off the bat. I don't know that for a fact, but I know they get a lot of vacation. They're European. I mean, yeah. They're all fancy, driving around Ferraris and whatnot.
I don't think they all have Ferraris.
I know, I'm just joking.
All right, so we touched on the stimulus package. We touched on the Emergency Sick Leave Act. So that brings us to our main discussion topic, which we want to hear a lot from you guys. We're going to touch on our opinions a little bit of this, and then we're going to leave the floor open to you guys. We want to hear you guys just blow up our comment section. We just want to hear your guys' opinion, because that's the only way we get this conversation. Yeah, insert sound effect here. Of what you guys think we should do. Like, let's hear it. There's no wrong answer. It's all opinions at this point, because no one is gonna. We don't have all the data for all this. We're still testing. We're still finding out. We're still trying to find a cure. We're still trying to flatten this curve everyone's talking about. It's just no one knows the future. No one knows what's going to happen. All we can do is take it a day at a time. But we want to know like your opinions on this, and that is the big question that's been blowing up all last week. When we should reopen this economy to the full extent. Like, what are the health risks of reopening it too soon versus the economic risks of letting this go on too long to the point where our economy crashes and there is no recovery. We just move into a full-on depression, and then everyone's suffering way worse than they are now. So let's open that up. Yen, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah. What, you talking to me?
Yeah. What are your thoughts? I want you to like open it up. Sorry, did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut it out. Sorry.
That's fine. I'll stop.
What I think I should do? You want to know what you think I should do if I would do it?
Yeah, like when do you think this should be open? Should we wait? Like, should there be an actual timetable for this? Do you think that we should just what's your opinion on this? Should we just go ahead and open up the economy and say like I know there's some people that are saying if you're over 60, stay at home, and we'll let all the people under 60 go back to work. Everyone over 60 just self quarantine so we can get the economy back up.
No, I think they got it 90% right, but I'll tell you how I do it.
Go for it.
First off, this thing is not going away until we have the vaccine, and we hit that curve in the vaccine. So either those two happen. So then, what are you going to do? You're going to prepare for a long, and not by winter as in actual cold. I'm talking about the flu winter, and that is like, how long is this going to be going on? Which, average is probably going to be like 4 years till we can get this settled down. I'm going to say with our technology, 2 to 3 years.
Wow, so you think...
hopefully it's going to be quicker than that, but that's the first thing.
So hold on, I'm going to make sure I understand this correctly before we move on. So you think that we should stay in these current procedures we have now, these lockdown procedures and everything? Like, what do you mean by 2 to 4 years? Like, what do you like explain that? I'm confused.
I think we are going to be dealing with this for a 2 to 3 years, I think. I have a feeling most other pandemics have that kind of range. And to be honest, yeah, that's what happens through my research from the 1900s, early 1900s to now. We've had pandemics of sorts, different parts of the country, and they happen for 2 to 4 years. It's usually based on the infection rate, and the infection rate of this is so high. That's why everything is just getting the way it is. But after that, I think, yeah, the government did the right thing. Other than, they need to coach people on what we should be doing more to channel out. And I think they're doing a good job. I think the grocery stores are a big source of, obviously they're doing everything that they can, but I think we should be delivering these groceries. And as far as giving money to all, I think they should have just concentrated on coronavirus, unemployment, and just helping, helping working with businesses. But that's just, they can't do that. You can't just work with individual businesses. There's millions of them, and so I don't know. They're doing a good job. I just wish they would have spent more money on that coronavirus. I think this is going to last a long time. So all of the things that they're doing right now is going to bankrupt America. Because it's just, what if this lasts for 2 to 3 years, this coronavirus, and the infection rate stays the same, and people are dying, left and right. What are we, you plan for the worst, hope for the best. And they're planning for the best. They were hoping, they're what are these things for? These last 4 weeks. And then they got to go back in Congress and spend another time, spend time and money and develop another bill that they can pay themselves and pay out all these, and they need to come up with a long-term plan. They need to be okay, look, what if this happens for 5 years? What if this is going on for 5 years? We need, they need to talk to people. They need to talk, the Congress should be talking to each other. They should be talking to scientists. This is not a freaking 60-year-old, dude from Wisconsin that's has no knowledge on infection rates, past history on this. This is dropped on. Nor should they. They shouldn't know, but they should have to consult scientists. And really, I wish scientists would be able to make the final decision, because that's what's going to save lives. And for economy, we need economists in here. Be like, what should we do? We shouldn't have some 72-year-old senator. Obviously not 72, but these old people that don't. Their only business is getting votes, and their only business is getting votes. They have and telling people what they want them to do, or telling them what they want to do. That's not their. And I get that. Rock on, dude. Make your money. But this is real deal, Holyfield. You need to talk to these people that go to school and go to college for infections, and these people that go to school for economy. I don't know why we don't have nothing but economists in our Congress, because that would be genius. Then we could actually do some arithmetic and have a balanced budget. But no, we got these people that promise all of these, pro-choice, pro-life, which is cool. But that's a stupid thing when we need people balancing a budget. And it's not a stupid thing. I'm not saying pro-life, pro-choice is stupid. I'm just saying right now that's the least of our worries, because that's, this is a high infectious rate, deadly disease. We need science on our side. Science will be on our side. I mean, we can pray all day, and science, what even the church even believes, God made science, so use it. So let's do that. I don't know. That's how I feel.
That's how you feel. All right, so I'm going to put up my 2 cents before we wrap this up. So it's something I feel like definitely as I think the president should definitely, like, I don't know if you saw that where he said he wanted to have it optimally done by April, or I forget what day Easter. Well, he said Easter. He wanted this to try to reopen the economy by Easter. I think that was a bad move by putting a date on it. I get why he did it. Like, he's trying to give people hope. I get why he did it, but I don't agree with it necessarily. But there has to be some, like, I agree with him in the sense that I think we should start discussing this, because we shouldn't be as reactive as we were as the start of this as to when we're going to finish this. Because we already are reactive enough getting, starting the lockdowns, and when we realized this stuff was bad. So I don't see anything wrong with trying to get us to talk about, hey, let's start planning for the future. Now, as far as when this should be, we're not going to know. But we should definitely get this conversation started, because we don't want to all of a sudden just, all right, let's reopen right now. It's something that should be gradual. I don't think it should last months. It should be a matter of weeks when we start opening things back up. But in those weeks, we definitely need to prioritize a couple of things. One, boosting industry of PPE for medical workers and ICU beds, ventilators, stuff that we need for the virus. Simple. That's simple right there. We need to boost our medical capacity. So that's a huge thing right there. I think, like, if we don't get that done in the middle of that, if we're not prioritizing that, then the longer we wait, the worse this is going to get from an economic standpoint. And like I said earlier, like we were talking in the pre-show meeting, I don't see the economy as just like, I know a lot of people just say, oh, the economy is just a bunch of rich people and they're big businesses and stuff. No, I don't see it that way. I see the economy as everybody. It's the lifeblood of our society. We need a good, strong economy to have everything be working continuously and have everyone be working with each other. Because if we start having a crappy economy, then people are going to start losing their jobs more. People aren't going to be making as much money overall. Or there's going to be more. Like, I already know, like, there's already enough poor people in the world. We don't need to add to that number. So the longer this economy just stays shut down, the longer it's going to be worse for other people, because we can't just continuously floating ourselves up with our own money and inflating our own currency, because that's what's eventually going to happen. We're just going to make the value of our dollar worse, and then we're going to have to pay other countries to take loans from us. Like right now, I think they're already at 0% loans. Like so we can pay all
about that.
Yeah, we're already giving 0% loans to other countries just so we can pay we can float ourselves up. Could you imagine how bad it's going to be if we're like, all right, so China, to so you can loan money from us, like you can buy our bonds. We're going to pay you a little bit of that in interest just so we can get some money to get through this now. That's just going to get worse. We don't need that right now. So I think we need to increase testing. Let's put some money into that. We need to definitely increase testing because I think once we get more numbers, I think this will become like more clear of like how things are actually going because that's the key. That's another thing that's down right now. We don't have we don't have all the numbers that we need because once we start getting the numbers, we can start adjusting our models. Like we go like, oh, we might find that more people are already had this thing and already immune to it. We just don't know because we're not testing enough people. I think we should just do mass testing. We just start just test anybody. Why not? They might be immune because once we find out who's immune, then that leads to finding a vaccine sooner.
It's impossible. I mean, it's not impossible. South Korea was doing that same thing for COVID-19 a long time about. I think it was like 25,000 people a day. And they had the last pandemic of SARS, and that was like not long ago. So they're already like ready to rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In their recent future, they're like ready to rock, and you know, we don't know like their cleanliness. You know, like actually I don't know exactly, but I know that that culture is pretty strict on like awesomeness. You know, like Samsung and just like their organization and just how they built their economy over the last decade. They're like dirt poor to these like high rises, like of just like culture and business,
Right?
And like just the fact that how they took care of it, dude. I mean, obviously there's affection, but such a close, having a small country like that and being able to just to route out 25,000 people a day just in and out, COVID-19, and just watching us fumble around, just like what, fumble with the ball,
Yeah.
trying to pick it up. I don't think that testing is going to do much. I mean, it is obviously we're going to get numbers, but like at the same time, it's going to hurt our economy even worse. Everybody got tested because quarantining. That's when we start losing.
Well, that's the thing. If we boost, we won't have to quarantine as much if we have more ICU beds because eventually we're not going to like the thing is if a lot of people don't start to get immune to this, then we're not going to be able to start our lives back up. That's like honestly, that's what we need. We need people to, as sad as it is, younger people that are less susceptible to dying of this to get it, go through the process of being immune to it, and then that'll move it along further. We can't just have everyone in isolation not getting it because it's impossible to like the economy is not going to last and people aren't going to last wanting to stay inside. Then eventually, let's hypothetical scenario. Let's use your example of where you said let's wait till we find a vaccine. That could take years. You said anywhere from 12 to 18 months optimal time from what I've been reading, 12 to 18 months to find a vaccine. If we stay isolated for that long, people are going to go crazy and eventually they're just going to get out anyways before we have say it takes longer to get those ICU beds and those ventilators and all that stuff that medical people need so that way they don't overload their healthcare system. People just start going out to conversing and spreading the disease faster than we're able to control it with our hospitals, then people are going to die that don't necessarily need to die. And that's why I think that we should just let's set a time period like, hey, we're going to like right now we're in quarantine for I forget how many days it was or it is still. And then we just at that day we like, all right, we're going to reassess our numbers. We get our we get scientists, economists together. We have them discussing, and we set a new date, and we keep reassessing until we can just see. All right, we have where the scientists say yes, we feel like we have the medical capacity to handle people coming in here. We can keep them safe. We can get them through this virus, the way they can get out back into the world healthy and they're healed. And also compared to where the economists are saying yes, we can last this long to where we're not going to crash, and we can keep people afloat until they can get back to work.
I honestly don't know how they treat that. I know you can't go into most of the if you have a temperature, you can't. I don't know about the emergency room, but you're definitely isolated, and they don't have. I don't think we don't have the ICU beds that they talk about. I don't think I before I even went to the hospital, I had a feeling I'm like, there's no way they could deal with anything. That's why they tell you to self quarantine. If you have a temperature, you self quarantine. You don't go to the hospital. Self-quarantine is for. You're not supposed to go to the hospital if you have it. You're not supposed to go out if you have it. You're not supposed to go out if you don't have it.
Right.
And that's the thing. But you do have to go get food, and you do have to go to work. And yeah, you say, I'm like I was telling you, there's a lot of things that are still open. Best Buy, you can go. I can't, other than like, the obvious, like clothing stores, you really need. That's what I've noticed. Nails, you know what I mean? Swingers clubs. Like, those people are going to definitely need a fall from unemployment. But like, in certain, like you said, certain industries are booming. Booming. And certain industries, you're just going to, if you're a server at a restaurant, I'm not saying that's a bad job, but it's like, you're getting a certain amount of hours. I imagine it's flexible. It's good for flexible schedules. If you need a flexible schedule, a server is a great job. You need extra money, and it's awesome that our government's going to give them that extra $600. But yeah, like you said, we can't be nursing these people. But I'm sure these people don't want to get paid that. They'd rather get back to work and live their life. So I don't think that like we're going to be nursing, poor people's tits and have them latched on.
Yeah. So just to summarize, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to summarize what I think you said, and I'll summarize what I think. So basically, your idea for this, what we think we should do is just keep everybody isolated, lock down as much as possible, and continue trying to funnel money into these programs to keep people afloat until we come up with a vaccine. Correct?
No, that's just what's going on right now.
Well, that's right now. I'm just saying long term. What's like that? That's what I'm saying. Like you said, like
long term that wouldn't work out. You can't unemploy. Like we'd have to find different job. We'd have to find a different structure for what is going on in society right now, because we'd have to divert these jobs into safer jobs. We're gonna have to divert these Krogers and Myers and all the different types of food. Way we get food, because that is the most unhealthy thing that we can do right now, is go to the grocery store, crowd in there, and hoard stuff. Like why don't they? The government. I think the government needs to come in for the long run and say, hey, we need to lower the cost for all this. We need to like somehow work together and actually do their job, instead of fighting over stupid shit. They should have been doing this a long time ago. Not preparing for a pandemic, but just making it, like I said, some of the stuff like the stimulus package, education, like all of that money they're giving to everyone. But like, yeah.
All right. So all I know is at the end of this, man, like no, we can't tell the future. This is all just our opinions. We want to hear what you think. But all I know is after this, we've gone through all of this. When we come out the other side of this, we better have some sort of plan in place for not if, but when this happens again, because it's going to happen again. There's going to be some sort of new virus, something that evolves or adapts to our immune system that's going to kill us off again. We need to learn from this, and we need to put something in place, like South Korea did it. That's why they're doing really well. Like we mentioned them earlier, they're doing pretty good with how they're testing, and they have a decent amount of equipment. We need to have some sort of plan in place. Whether that's we start stocking up on some of this stuff now, so that it may wait in a warehouse for 5 to 10 years, but it'll be there when we need it.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was saying about that structure. We just needed to redo the structure of the government, like what we've been paying them to do. Like we need to we need to freaking set up a different structure, divert jobs in different places that are safer, and we can keep this economy rolling. Because let's just say the next 5 years we're not going to have, we'll not have this, but we'll have that, and we need to work with businesses. The government needs to work with businesses and every type of industry, instead of just loading a lump of money and be like, here, do what. No, this is how you spend the money. You are going to, this. You know what I mean? This is not going to be good anymore, for serving, but we can take these servers, put them in these cars, and, have them deliver. So with Kroger's, well, you guys are going to need, hire like 20, like 100 people to start delivering these things. Old people that don't have cell phones, or they need help. Like, I don't know. We need to figure it out. I don't know, but it's diverting new structure in our infrastructure. Adding more legs and cutting off some other ones, little branches in the infrastructure.
Cutting off the unnecessary fat and trying to develop something that's actually useful. I could see that.
Yeah.
That sounds like nice, but only time will tell what we can do. But we want to hear what you guys think. We want your voice in this. We want to hear what you want to think. So put in the comments down below. Thank you for anybody that was listening. Yen, you got
on?
Yeah, Yen, you got anything you want to say before we sign out of this bad boy for episode 2?
No, party on, everybody.
Yeah. All right. So once again, thank you. All right. Thank you all for listening. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date for our latest episodes. Right now, we're streaming our episodes every Sunday night as of right now, and we're putting our episodes up every Monday morning. If you want to catch it on YouTube, that's our schedule currently. And who knows? The more you support us, the more likely we are to maybe add an episode a week and keep building this up, make it bigger and bigger. But we want to hear what you guys have to think. Tell us what you think. And if you want to possibly jump in on the podcast with us and voice your opinion on a topic that you feel strongly about, join our Discord. Link in the description. Like and subscribe.
And come on at 8:30.
Yeah. Try to. Yeah, we'll try to stay on schedule. 8:30 on Sunday nights, Eastern Standard Time. All right. You good?
Party on.
Party on. All right.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Peace, love, and chicken grease, guys. We're out of here. We love you all.
Yin and Yang.
Yeah. See you guys later.
Peace.